The Chicago Bears just received what can only be described as a legitimate medical miracle. Second-year offensive tackle Ozzy Trapilo has officially been activated off the physically unable to perform list and is stepping back onto the practice field weeks ahead of schedule. This completely upends the entire offensive line picture in Chicago right as the regular season approaches. Make sure to smash that like button, share this with fellow fans, and hit subscribe so you never miss another breaking team update. When you look across the entire NFL landscape, how often do you see a 300-plus pound offensive tackle shatter modern medical recovery timelines like this? It almost never happens in professional sports. When Ozzy went down during the postseason and underwent surgery on January 21 to repair a completely torn patellar tendon, the collective fear across the entire organization and the entire fanbase was palpable. This was not a standard ligament sprain or a routine ACL tear where athletes routinely return on predictable schedules. Orthopedic surgeons and athletic trainers will tell you straight up that a patellar tendon rupture is one of the most grueling, agonizing, and devastating lower body injuries any athlete can ever endure. It is especially brutal for an offensive tackle carrying over 300 pounds of mass who relies entirely on knee flexion, anchor strength, and explosive lateral agility to stonewall elite edge rushers on every single snap. The standard baseline recovery timeline for an injury of this severity typically sits anywhere between 9 and 12 full months. That medical reality is why every analyst, scout, and beat reporter went into the spring assuming Trapilo would miss the vast majority of the regular season, if not the entire fall campaign. There was serious talk about whether we would even see him on a football field in any capacity this year. Yet here we are in the middle of August, under 7 months removed from the operating table, and the medical staff has officially cleared him to suit up and work his way back into football action. To put this incredible recovery into proper perspective, remember when legendary superstars like Adrian Peterson stunned the entire football world years ago by returning from a torn ACL in 7 or 8 months. That was hailed as a historic feat that defied modern medicine. Ozzy Trapilo's recovery is right in that rare tier of freakish physical determination and athletic resilience. When you look at other recent cases across the league, like Kansas City Chiefs first-round pick Josh Simmons fighting through a partial tear and returning in roughly 8 to 9 months, remember that Ozzy suffered a complete, full rupture and beat that benchmark cleanly. It is an extraordinary testament to his unmatched work ethic, his relentless dedication to the rehabilitation process, and the top-tier care of the medical staff. Now, as thrilling as this development is, we have to keep our feet planted firmly on the ground. We have not seen Ozzy strap on full pads yet, take full contact reps in team scrimmages, or test that repair knee against a violent bull rush from a starting defensive end. There is still a progression ramp-up period ahead before the regular season opener kicks off in 4 weeks. Chicago general manager Ryan Poles indicated on local radio that Ozzy was trending well ahead of schedule, and while head coach Ben Johnson kept public expectations tempered, the coaching staff is clearly thrilled by his accelerated progress behind closed doors. The timing of this return could not be more vital for the success of this offense. If you watched the recent preseason action against the Cleveland Browns, the battle at left tackle has been far from reassuring. Kieran Amegadji had a rough outing where he looked slow out of his stance and repeatedly surrendered inside leverage, while Jedrick Wills Jr. experienced a disastrous blown block that allowed the pass rusher to race untouched into the backfield to crush Tyson Bagent. With Braxton Jones also working his way back onto the field, Ozzy's sudden presence turns what was a shaky situation into a legitimate, high-stakes competition for the blindside protector role. If Trapilo displays his trademark lateral movement, core balance, and functional strength over the next few weeks of padded work, he has a real shot to seize that starting job. That brings us to our question of the day. Do you believe Ozzy Trapilo should be named the starting left tackle for Week 1 the moment he is fully cleared, or should the coaching staff ease him in slowly behind Braxton Jones? Drop your exact predictions and thoughts in the comments section below. Every single rep in training camp and joint practices is going to carry massive weight. Protecting the quarterback is the absolute #1 priority for this coaching staff, and having a physical, high-motor tackle like Trapilo back in the mix fundamentally changes what the offense can execute in both pass protection and wide-zone run blocking. When Ozzy earned starting opportunities down the stretch of his rookie season, he showed steady week-over-week growth, refined his hand placement, and proved that he possesses the athletic ceiling of a long-term anchor on the edge. Seeing him reclaim his health so rapidly provides a massive psychological boost to the entire locker room as they prepare for the grueling regular season grind. Turning to other roster moves around the organization, the front office cleared some room by executing injury settlements with 3 players who had previously reverted to injured reserve. Wide receiver Karen Hudson, along with defensive backs Kerry Vincent Jr. and Gervarius Owens, have officially reached injury settlements and have been waived from the roster, making them unrestricted free agents able to sign elsewhere once healthy. These procedural adjustments give the front office additional roster flexibility as they fine-tune the bottom of the depth chart and manage player designations heading into the final round of roster cutdowns. Meanwhile, on the defensive side of the football, the team hosted veteran edge rusher Marcus Davenport for an official free agent visit. Davenport brings first-round draft pedigree from the New Orleans Saints back in 2018 and has past ties to coordinator Dennis Allen as well as head coach Ben Johnson from his time in Detroit. When Davenport is on the field, his talent is undeniable, boasting 9 sacks in an 11-game stretch during his peak year with the Saints. However, health has been an ongoing hurdle, limiting him to just 14 appearances across the last 3 seasons combined. Adding an experienced pass rusher of his caliber would simply represent low-risk, high-reward depth to push the edge rotation during camp rather than a headline-grabbing blockbuster signing like Zadarius Smith heading to Cleveland. Having veteran depth on the defensive front is critical for maintaining an aggressive rotation, sustaining pressure in the fourth quarter, and guarding against inevitable regular season attrition. If Davenport checks out physically and agrees to a team-friendly deal, he could provide valuable situational pass-rushing snaps alongside the starting edge rushers. Seeing Ozzy Trapilo defy the odds to beat his injury timeline is easily the biggest storyline of training camp. The left tackle battle is officially wide open, and the offensive line dynamic just took a massive leap forward. Bear down.